Stop scrolling and pay attention, because what I'm about to share with you will either open your eyes forever, or you'll ignore it and keep living the same predictable cycle that's been holding you back. Just a few days ago, I saw a man begging for recognition from people who didn't even value him. He was explaining, apologizing, trying to earn a respect that was never going to come. And I thought to myself, how many men in America live this same way every single day? Maybe you've felt it too. Maybe you've been overlooked at work, ignored in relationships, treated like a background character in your own life. Let me tell you something straight. You're not invisible because you're weak. You're invisible because the world has trained you to stay quiet, compliant, and easy to control. From the time you were young, you were told to play nice, not to rock the boat, to be a good boy. But good boys don't change the world. Good boys get passed over. 500 years ago, one man saw through this illusion and laid out the real rules of power. His name was Niccolò Machiavelli, and his lessons are more relevant to your life today than ever before. These aren't polite rules. These aren't the fake motivational quotes society feeds you. These are the raw, unfiltered laws of influence and strength. And if you absorb them, if you live by them, you'll become a man who can't be ignored, who can't be manipulated, who can't be stopped. So listen carefully, because once you hear these lessons, you can't unhear them. Once you understand them, you can't go back to being naive. Let's begin. Number 1. Rule your inner kingdom. Every man lives with two versions of himself. One is hesitant, apologetic, and hungry for approval. The other is decisive, commanding, and certain of his worth. Which one wins depends on which one you feed. Most men in this country are starving their strong self and feeding their weak self every day. They say yes when they want to say no. They apologize when they did nothing wrong. They over-explain to people who don't deserve explanations. This is not weakness by birth, this is weakness by training. Schools train you to be obedient. Jobs train you to be replaceable. Society trains you to be predictable. But here's the truth Machiavelli knew. If you cannot master yourself, you will always be ruled by others. When someone tests your boundary and you let it slide, you're handing them the crown over your inner kingdom. When you shrink back instead of standing firm, you're telling the world you can be ruled. Ruling your inner kingdom means deciding that your standards matter more than their approval. It means feeding the self that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't apologize for existing. Every time you hold back your truth, you strengthen the weak self. Every time you stand your ground, you strengthen the king within you. And the world doesn't respect men who explain themselves. It respects men who act like rulers of their own space. Start by catching yourself. Before you say sorry out of habit, pause. Before you explain why you have a boundary, stop. Before you beg for understanding, remember, kings don't beg, they decide. Number 2, build the fortress mind. In life, everything begins with how strong your mind is under pressure. If your mind cracks, everything else follows. The reason most men stay stuck isn't because they lack talent. It's because their emotions control their decisions. They get criticized and they crumble. They face setbacks and they panic. They feel fear and they freeze. Machiavelli understood that a man without mental discipline is like a city with no walls. Anyone can walk in and burn it down. You have to build a fortress around your mind so solid that no insult, no rejection, no betrayal can penetrate it. That doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop letting feelings control your moves. When someone criticizes you, don't let your ego react with anger. See it as information about them. When someone disrespects you, don't collapse in hurt. Recognize it as data showing who they really are. The fortress mind turns every emotional attack into strategic knowledge. Most men live like open fields, exposed to every storm. You will become the castle that stands tall while chaos rages outside. Here's how you start. When something shakes you, pause. Ask yourself, what pattern is this revealing? What truth about human nature is this teaching me? When fear shows up, remind yourself fear is proof you're growing. When anger rises, see it as a signal that someone crossed a line, not a command to act recklessly. Every pause, every moment of discipline lays another stone in your mental fortress. Eventually, nothing shakes you. Not betrayal, not gossip, not disappointment. And when you stand unshaken, people start realizing you're not like everyone else. You're untouchable. Number 3, master the silence weapon. In a world where everyone talks too much, silence is the ultimate display of power. Think about the loudest man in the room. He argues, he explains, he talks over everyone. Why? Because he's insecure. His words are a cover for his weakness. But the man who can sit in silence, the man who doesn't need to explain, the man who says only what matters, that man radiates power. Machiavelli once wrote that men judge more by appearances than by reality. Silence creates the appearance of depth. People can't figure you out, so they assume you know something they don't. They imagine your silence means strategy. They begin to respect you not because you spoke, but because you didn't. Here's the secret. When you stop explaining yourself, people start respecting your decisions. When you stop defending every move, people stop questioning your moves. Silence turns you into a mystery they can't solve, and mystery is magnetic. But silence doesn't mean passivity. It means choosing when to speak and when not to. When someone tries to bait you into drama, don't engage. When someone demands answers you don't owe, simply say no. When someone crosses your boundary, enforce it without explaining. Silence protects you from saying words you'll regret and keeps your challengers guessing. Every time you remain calm when others explode, you gain influence. Every time you observe instead of react, you gain leverage. The quiet man controls the room because everyone wonders what he's thinking. Let your silence do the talking. Number 4, turn betrayal into fuel. Let me give it to you straight. People will disappoint you. Friends will put their interests above your loyalty. Partners will choose profit over trust. Even family might fail you when you need them most. Most men fall apart when this happens. They replay conversations, they ask why, they wallow in bitterness. But Machiavelli understood human nature too well to be surprised. He knew that men are selfish, changeable, and self-serving. And when you expect this, betrayal doesn't break you. It educates you. Every disappointment shows you someone's true character. Every betrayal is a mask falling off. Every letdown is a gift of clarity. Instead of asking, why did they do this to me? Start asking, what did this reveal about them? Betrayal is proof you're rising, because nobody betrays the invisible man. People betray those who have something valuable. They betray men who are building, who are growing, who are becoming someone. If you've been betrayed, wear it as evidence that you're becoming worth betraying. Here's the Machiavellian move. Don't react emotionally. Don't try to win them back. Don't waste energy on revenge. Either cut them off clean and move forward, or store the knowledge and use it later when it serves your strategy. Distance is power. Patience is power. When you can turn betrayal into wisdom, you transform pain into strength. The man who survives multiple disappointments without bitterness becomes unstoppable. Because when you've seen people's worst and you're still standing, nothing can take you down. Number 5. Control the stage of perception. One of Machiavelli's sharpest observations was that men judge more by appearances than by reality. In other words, it doesn't matter who you are deep inside if the world sees something different. Most people waste years hoping others will understand their heart. They say, if people really knew me, they would respect me. Stop waiting. The world doesn't read your intentions, it only sees your presentation. The man who learns to shape perception is the man who wins. Think of it like a stage. Every time you walk into a room, people are forming instant judgments about your confidence, your discipline, your energy. If you slouch, apologize too much, or speak with hesitation, you're setting the stage of weakness. But if you carry yourself with calm authority, if you speak less but with certainty, if you move like a man who knows his worth, the stage changes instantly. You don't have to be the richest man in the room. You don't have to be the most attractive. You just have to project self-rule and people will assume you're someone important. Controlling perception is not about faking, it's about alignment. You align your actions with the image of strength and discipline. If you want to be seen as reliable, never break your word. If you want to be seen as confident, stop explaining yourself. If you want to be seen as wise, talk less and listen more. Society teaches men to just be themselves, But raw self without strategy is wasted potential. Machiavelli knew, men who master appearances control the narrative, and men who control the narrative control the power. Number 6. Use patience as your hidden weapon. America is built on speed. Fast food, fast money, fast entertainment. Everyone wants results now. That's why patience is the rarest and most powerful weapon you can carry. The impatient man reveals his emotions, his weaknesses, and his desperation. He rushes into decisions, burns bridges, and hands his power away because he can't wait. Machiavelli taught that the man who waits sees more. He lets enemies expose themselves, lets competitors make mistakes, lets opportunities ripen before striking. Patience doesn't mean doing nothing. It means waiting until the exact right moment to do something. Picture a hunter in the forest. The impatient hunter fires at the first sound and misses. The patient hunter waits, observes, studies the patterns, and when he finally fires, he never misses. Life works the same way. If you're always rushing, always chasing, always forcing, you're easy to control. But if you can wait while others panic, you become untouchable. Opportunities will come to you because you're not burning out in desperation. People will trust you because you don't act impulsively. And when you finally move, your actions carry weight because they're rare and deliberate. Next time you feel desperate to prove yourself, stop. Next time you want to react instantly, pause. Remember, silence and time are the two strongest weapons a man can own. Patience makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability makes you powerful. Number 7. Influence through strategic kindness. Now this may sound surprising, because when people hear Machiavelli, they think of cold manipulation and ruthless control. But here's the truth most people miss. Calculated kindness is one of the strongest tools of power. Notice I said calculated, not blind. Most men give kindness recklessly. They give time, money, and energy to anyone who asks, and in return they're used and discarded. Strategic kindness is different. It means giving in a way that creates loyalty, influence, and advantage. For example, helping someone at their lowest point when no one else stood with them. That kindness will be remembered for years. Offering guidance without asking for anything in return. That kindness plants seeds of trust that can grow into alliances. But the key is control. You don't give to everyone. You don't throw pearls before swine. You select carefully where your kindness goes because not all soil is worth planting in. Machiavelli knew that generosity wins hearts, but only when it's rare and strategic. So instead of trying to please everyone, focus your energy on key relationships, on people who can grow with you or stand beside you in the future. And when you show kindness, do it in a way that cannot be forgotten. People expect selfishness. When you give with strength and confidence, it shocks them, it disarms them, and it makes you unforgettable. Strategic kindness is power wrapped in warmth. Use it wisely. Number 8. Never stop shaping your legend. Every man will die, but not every man will be remembered. Most live and vanish without leaving a trace. But the Machiavellian mind doesn't settle for being forgotten. It builds a legacy, a legend, a name that echoes after he's gone. You may think this is only for kings or presidents, but it's not. In your own circle, in your own community, in your own family, you are writing your legend every day. The question is, will it be a story of weakness and wasted time, or a story of strength and growth? To build your legend, you must live with intention. You must treat every day as a brick in the monument of your life. How do you want to be remembered? As a man who complained, who bowed, who settled, or as a man who stood, who grew, who left an imprint that others could follow? Machiavelli believed men are remembered not for what they intended, but for what they dared to do. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for approval. Your legend is being shaped right now with every choice you make. Speak with weight. Act with purpose. Build habits that last longer than your moods. And most importantly, lift others while you rise. Because influence that outlives you is the true mark of power. One day, people will tell stories about you. Make sure those stories carry respect, not pity. And now we close. Remember this. The world you live in is not built on fairness. It's built on power, perception, and psychology. You can keep hoping for luck, or you can learn the rules that have guided the strongest men for centuries. Machiavelli didn't give us a manual to be cruel. He gave us the manual to survive, to rise, to lead. Rule your inner kingdom. Build the fortress mind. Master the silence weapon. Turn betrayal into fuel. Control the stage of perception. Use patience as your weapon. Influence through strategic kindness. And never stop shaping your legend. If you apply even half of these, you'll become the man people can't ignore. You will stop being the background character in your own story and step into the role you were meant to play. The author of your destiny, the king of your world. The choice is yours. Stay ordinary or rise into the extraordinary.